Smogon has recently decided to officially support the Draft League format on Pokemon Showdown, and not only recognizing the format, they have been hosting tournaments for different generations beginning earlier this year with a Paldea Dex tournament challenge, where there were over 1,200 different signups. One of the biggest, if not the biggest, draft tournaments of all time. And one of those participants was me. Each player was split into over 100 different draft pools, each pool containing 8 different people. I got slotted into the 5th drafting slot in my pool, and to my surprise, free TERA Dragonite was still there. Genuinely the best Pokemon I could have asked for. Following that, Iron Treads made its way back to me, which I liked pairing with Dragonite due to it being one of the best rapid spinners in the game. In the 3rd round, I managed to secure Glamora, which I really liked alongside a great spinner like Iron Treads. Round 4, I was able to take my favorite Pokemon in the generation, Slitherwing. This added some great Volter momentum paired with Iron Treads, which was a concept that I really liked alongside Dragonite. In round 5, I got the very underrated Mimikyu, which actually counters a lot of top tier threats, specifically in the Paldea Dex, but also gave us one of the few fairies of the generation. I then somehow got Slowking in round 6, and then some speed with Talonflame in round 7, and then finally Krokorok in round 8. I only had 1 point left. Please be nice to Krokorok. With a team this nice, how could we lose? Let's find out. After drafting, everybody got thrown into a battle pool with 4 different people than those that were in their draft pools. Our first opponent was named Silveryo, who brought Roaring Moon, Volcarona, Sylveon, Rotomwash, Breloom, and Bronzong. We brought a lead Lumberry Glamora to try and mitigate lead support Breloom, as well as get rocks up versus a team that had no removal. We were Lum over safety goggles because of, well honestly, I don't know. We had DD TERA normal Dragonite with Fire Punch because their only normal resist was Bronzong. We had T-Wave Figgyberry Mimikyu, and to be honest, I have absolutely no idea why I was Figgy. But I do know that I was Thunder Wave to take a hit from something like their TERA Volcarona or their Roaring Moon and throw off a Thunder Wave to slow it down for the rest of our team. I had AV Iron Treads to keep rocks off of our field and take hits better from not only Rotom but also the Sylveon, and I also had Silver Powder Slitherwing with First Impression to maintain commanding priority as well as Heavy Slam to catch a Sylveon off guard. Lastly, I had Talonflame with Gale Wings and Boots just to outspeed a potential +1 Roaring Moon or Volcarona as well as have a decent switch into the Bronzong. I began with the intention of leading Glamora, but I led Slitherwing. And this was because I was so unconfident versus a potential lead Rotom. They ended up leading Breloom, so I was able to get a big U-turn off and then went right into my Glamora, eating the Spore up and using up my Lumberry. Bronzong comes in and we trade rocks. I then go into Iron Treads as they go Rotom, and they burn me as I get the spin off, which is absolutely fine as this mon was not here for damage. I'm able to remove their leftovers as they Volt Switch, and I then go Slitherwing the following turn, calling the Hydro Pump. I then make some pivots with Slitherwing and Iron Treads, and Sylveon ends up in front of us as we get Glamora in. They go Bronzong and I go Treads to spin. As this happens, they go into Breloom and I go Glamora on the Mach to guarantee a T-Spike up versus the very scary Roaring Moon in the back. Glamora then takes out Breloom and then the TERA Volcarona comes in. I obviously cannot let it set up, so I sack my Glamora to prevent that. I then U-turn with my Talonflame into my Slitherwing, and I take this opportunity to Morning Sun as they actually show that they are packing the Zen Headbutt specifically for my Slitherwing on this Bronzong. I then decide to U-turn as they surprisingly go Rotom and sack it, which leads to me going into Talonflame. They go back into Bronzong and I once again U-turn into Iron Treads to keep rocks off the field as they actually reveal Ice Spinner. I knock the lefties off as they rock again and I spin as they keep rocks up. I decide to go then into Talonflame to taunt this, go Treads, and spin to keep these hazards off the field. However, they do make a good call and they aggressively switch into the Volcarona and are able to get a Quiver Dance off. Finally, our Dragonite is able to hit the field and we can just TERA normal E-Speed twice to get the kill on Volcarona as it very unfortunately Flame Body burns us. They go Roaring Moon, and since I always have Mimikyu in the back to revenge this, I let them have my burn Dragonite to get minimal chip and then go into that Mimikyu. They go Sylveon to take the play rough, and I admittedly make a poor play, giving them my disguise as they let me kill them. I then let my Mimikyu go down and go back into Talonflame. They opt to not get rocks up, so my Slitherwing is still alive in the back. I taunt to prevent rocks, and we have a little Zen Headbutt war for a little while as I eventually completely try to give the game away and U-turn as I did not calc if it would kill, and then I end up sacking my Slitherwing. Thankfully, Talonflame is able to clutch up and kill Roaring Moon in the back, winning us the first game. For game 2, we were playing someone named Coral Fan. They brought Palafin, Terrabax Caliber, Screamtail, Fortress, Palma, and Rotom Heat. Our team was a Rocky Helmet Slowking for the Palafin, a Shuka Iron Treads for the EQ from Excalibur, a Boots Special Dragonite with Draco and Surf, a Scarf Slitherwing, a Sash Lead Glamora, and a Boots Taunt Tailwind Talonflame. I ended up leading Glamora and almost completely 1v1 Fortress as they valued keeping hazards off of their field, but eventually they went Palma and revealed Double Shock. This almost sent my Slitherwing packing as I had to do some very uncomfortable switches to get Iron Treads in. I was then able to get Glamora back in to get Rocks up and sacked it to get a T-Spike off as well. They revealed to be Trick Rotom and Tricked Flame Orb onto my Talonflame and got a super unfortunate crit on me as well. They then sacked their Fortress, meaning my hazards were up for the rest of the game. Talonflame could then roost in the face of Rotom, and just a few uncomfortable switches later, Palafin came in as we went Slowking. After just one wave crash, this Palafin was at around 50%. To my surprise, our opponent did a few pivots to get Palafin Hero back in on the Slowking and get a rest off. We then had to throw off a foul play to prevent Palmot from coming in and claiming a kill, and then our Iron Treads was able to beat a bulk up Screamtail. Excalibur finally came in and I sacked our Talonflame to it as he eventually revealed to be Water Terra. I was able to take it out with Treads as well as take out the Rotom Heat, and Slowking was able to finish off the Palafin, winning us our second game. For our third pool game, we were playing someone named Lapras Chuckles. They brought a Bronzong, Azumarill, Great Tusk, Terra Hydreigon, Iron Moth, and Dreadnought. We ended up bringing a banded Terra Normal Dragonite with Hurricane for the Great Tusk. We had an AV Slowking that was here for the Iron Moth, an Air Balloon Mimikyu to catch the Great Tusk off guard, a Sash Lead Glamora, we had AV Treads for the Hydreigon, and then we had a Life Orb Slitherwing. The game began with a really shocking Great Tusk lead versus our Glamora, and they actually gave it to me turn 1. They Rapid Spun but did not expect to die in one hit to Energy Ball as we killed the most threatening Pokemon to our team turn 1. They went Hydreigon and revealed Terra Steel after that, as we went Mimikyu since we didn't particularly need it anymore. I sacked it off to get a free switch into Iron Treads and Body Press to kill the Hydreigon. Azumarill then came in and I wanted to put it in range of Terra D-Knight E-Speed if it belly drummed, so I Earthquaked. I gave up my Iron Treads and Bronzong came in on my Glamora. They had no removal, so I went ahead and got both a Spike and a T-Spike up and then went Slowking on the Bronzong. They got Iron Moth in on my Slowking and actually sacked it to my Side Shock. At this point, the game was over. I killed Azumarill with my Slitherwing and then Slowking beat the last two Pokemon and we went up 3-0. For our last pool game, we got a forfeit win. The last guy in the pool was really difficult to schedule with, so they let us claim, and we went up 4-0. This was good enough to not only make pools, but to also get a bye in the first round of the tournament. For our first pool game, we faced someone named Torman. They brought Terra Iron Thorns, Goldango, Howlucha, Azumarill, Hydreigon, and Screamtail. Our team was a Boots DD E-Speed Dragonite, AV Treads, Sash Lead Glamora, Spell Tag Mimikyu, Rocky Helmet Slowking, and Boots Taunt Talonflame. The game began with them leading Iron Thorns as I led Glamora. I contemplated for a little while on if I would Power Gym or Earth Power, but I ultimately decided to Earth Power. One of the worst mistakes of my life. They Terra Flying and Dragon Dance, and I sacked 3.5 Pokemon to not immediately lose the game. At this point, it would be extremely difficult for us to win, but it is still possible as long as I have Dragonite. I pivot Slowking on the Howlucha and then Iron Treads on the Hydreigon, and they actually revealed to be Rocky Helmet Howlucha. I'm forced to sack Iron Treads to Hydreigon and hope for a roll on it with E-Speed, just for differential at this point. Unfortunately, we don't get it and the game is wrapped up. It is super sad that I was one button click away from this being a completely different game, but that's Pokemon. Good game to all of my opponents. I had a lot of fun in this tour. Since this tournament, there have been several other tournaments hosted by Smogon, and I unfortunately have not gotten to participate in any of them due to being very busy these past few months. But the guys running them are doing a fantastic job, so shout out to all of them, and if you guys want in on the action, you can join the server down in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. I tried a fresh take on Postcom, so I hope that you guys found it entertaining in some way. Let me know down below what you thought of it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and for now guys, this has been John Jr. signing off.